Hey guys, so I need to show you guys something really weird. This book here, this is the Webster's International Dictionary. It's probably one of my favorite books that I own. I keep this in there, our prop ball invitation that we used in the second episode of Overlooked. Anyway, it's a super huge dictionary. Look how thick that is. You're not going to find a dictionary like that these days. There's so much more information in here. This is from 1894, and it's comprised of the 1864, 1879, and 1884 Webster's International Dictionaries. And I was actually looking something up unrelated, well, I guess in a way unrelated. Superficially unrelated in the first sense, maybe we'll put it that way. I was looking up the difference between inalienable and unalienable rights. Because if you look at the Declaration of Independence, it's quoted differently depending on where you look, because in the drafts of it, they use the word inalienable. But I guess when John Adams put it in the final version, it was unalienable, but it's still quoted. If you quote Thomas Jefferson, they quote inalienable. Anyway, point is, I wanted to look both of these words up to make sure there's no funny business going on there with what was meant with what ended up in the final draft, because that's the way my brain works. I don't know. I show you guys this book in videos all the time. But so I'm looking through this book, and I'm flipping through to get from inalienable to unalienable. And by the way, there is no difference, no meaningful difference in these words. And this book is crazy. Like check this out. I'm always finding things in this book. I've never gone through this book page by page, but there's all kinds of stuff that's been stuck in here. Leaves, lots of old plants and stuff, like old stuff. Anyway, flipping through, and you'll never guess, and this was October 30th, just by the way. Very interesting timing. You'll never guess, see, there's another leaf right there. It's even made like a space on the page where it used to be. I guess it used to be right there. Yeah, this book is crazy. It's a crazy book. But I got to this page. The page between 1236 and 1237. And this was stuck in here. It just looks like a Sears Roebuck ad that somebody has written the words Sears Roebuck a bunch of times. Prices in this catalog, grade for grade, are lower, much lower than any time in the last 10 years. This is the thrift book of a nation. This is from fall and winter 1930 to 1931, this clip. And I flipped it over, and you're just not, I don't know. This totally tripped me out. I'm going to show you what this says. It says, let's see if I can get it to focus. The Saving Hobby. When Harry Black, wealthy hotel owner of New York, it's been cut off on the side, so, committed suicide, his friends declared the reason was a lack of interest, having no hobby. He never played games or indulged in any sort of sport, and though possessing, I guess, millions, he could do nothing but work. Melancholy the result. If this diagnosis is correct, it contains an interesting something. All work and no play makes life dull, while all play and no work makes it stupid. That man is better balanced and normal who can do both. Sorry. And does them. Such a man is only on the surest road to something happiness, but is like have a better understanding, something disposition, and thus tribute more to the happiness of others. So, there's a 1930s newspaper clipping in here about all work and no play makes life dull. On page 1237 of this book. And someone has actually written Sears Roebuck a whole bunch of times on this piece of paper for whatever reason. It's just like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I don't know, it freaked me out when I found it. I was just like, what are the odds of that? Because in the story, he's got a scrapbook, and it's I don't know. Just anyway, specifically mentioning a wealthy New York hotel owner who commits suicide because all work and no play. Feels like a sign. And we did put Overlooked to the side for a few reasons. Not to never finish it, just we didn't get back to having the ability to finish it. The main reason is because right after we put out episode 2, we were suddenly told once again that we had to move out of our place that we were renting because the person who owned it wanted to sell it due to a number of circumstances. And that's not the first time that's happened to us here in these last few years. We're like nomads at this point. I guess we didn't meet the standard of having enough money to buy a house back in the time when you actually still could. So now we're just going to be like gypsies roaming the land and forced out at any given moment for any given reason. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we were actually making rent or anything, because we were. But so suddenly our whole life got once again tossed up into a big cloud of like, okay, are we even going to find a place to live? Can we afford it? You know, what's going to happen to us? So that became a thing, not to mention the fact that episode 2 got censored the F out of. It was so crazy. The messages I was receiving from people at the time of, first of all, during the live stream of the episode, they were asking people to report our live stream. Does this need to be reported? Click here. Like, when has that ever been a thing? So suddenly that's a new thing now where they're trying to get people in our live stream to report our channel. That was first of all. Secondly, I had people writing in saying they could not find it. Like, they would click on the link that we provided on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and it would not come up for them even when they clicked it. It was like it didn't exist, page not found. Okay? Some people were able to find episode 1 and not 2. Some people were able to find 2 and not 1. Like, the whole series got jacked with. More than other videos that we do. And just in ways that are just ludicrous, nonsensical, ridiculous ways. So it's frustrating as hell because episode 2 took me and Aaron 2 straight months of work. 2 straight months, that means not working on any other things, not being able to put anything else up. You gotta just devote your time. Because these things require research, they require writing, then you have to edit what you've written, then you have to record what you've written, then you have to edit the audio of what you've recorded, then you have to film all the things you need to film for that. I made a whole scrapbook for that episode. I made that scrapbook by hand. Like, all that stuff. He cooked a pig's head for that episode. Like, we went pretty far, okay? We go pretty far on the stuff when we get a chance to actually be creative and do what we do. We can make amazing things. We just don't get that chance.
It just drives me nuts that we have to do something in 2 days. Somebody arbitrarily says you got to do it in 2 days.
No.
That really pisses me off. It really does. Well, we're always up against the fucking, I'm not working this way again, ever. This is absolutely horrible. We never get any extra shots. We never get any time to experiment. We never get to, go dreamy or anything.
Because we're constantly clawing at this system that is constantly kicking us out of our own house and like not being able to just basically function, But so it took us 2 months to make that episode. And so we want to continue working on this series. It's really important. But we have to, it's like we had to work to buy ourselves a window of freaking time in order to be able to do that. That's how sad reality is, right? I don't think people who are making statues and all this cool stuff that used to exist hundreds of years ago that people, all the art people made back then, they weren't having to buy themselves a window of time to be able to do that. They were just doing it. And that's why we used to have so much cool stuff. And now all we have is a bunch of, like Disneyland, Taco Bell crap. That's why everyone wants to use AI to just spit a bunch of junk out. Because no one has any time because they can't afford time. Because time is more expensive than money. But we have been busting our ass trying to come back from the thousands of dollars we had to spend to move, because it's all we could do in this day and age. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And we're broke as hell. We're broke as hell right now, but we finally have worked for the last 2 months our asses off trying to catch back up. And I feel like at this time, finding this thing, is like it's like, this is what I need to be doing. I need to make this we need to make this episode right now. So this is the next thing that we need to do, and we're going to make it happen. And I feel like this is a sign, in like the most insane way possible that a sign can be a sign. And I think what we're talking about in episode 3 is really important to the world right now. Probably more now than it would have been if we made it back a few months ago. So the next thing that's coming up for this channel is going to be this. I'm going to work my ass off trying to get it done. And Aaron's with me on that. We're also working on our film too, so it's like we're trying to juggle all these plates and keep them all in the air at the same time. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update, because this just happened, and I don't know. I mean, what are the odds of that? I don't know what the odds of that are. That seems so unlikely and improbable. Of all of the clips that could be in this massive tome, of all the things that we could have found, and on all the page numbers that it could have been on, it's this. Like, that's just nuts. I just find that to be just crazy. So, I love you guys. Episode 3 coming next. And if you don't hear from us for a few weeks or a month while that's happening, it's just, that's, you know, time. That's what we have to do. I can't do 15 things at once. We're only 2 people. So, anyways, love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Mom!